Hello. I'm off of work again. Another big day again. Lots of energy going out, lots of energy coming in. In my full uniform and everything. uh, there's something I was really thinking about today is just how it's important as recovered people in building our resilience. Um, it's important to take advantage of all the technologies and resources we have advantage of, and to recognize the things that we can take advantage of, because it really helps, you know, empower us to engage in our creativity, our innate creative inclinations, so that something positive for ourselves and other people can be done with that innate energy we have, instead of it being wasted in addictive, like negative addictive, ways. So I was thinking how society itself is a sort of social technology. um I'm sure there's anthropologists who would have a much better understanding of how to describe what I'm trying to say, of course. But there's like these traditions that are based on wisdom of lessons that were learned in the past, and a lot of them aren't useful, but some of them are really useful. And some things that are really cool about society, um, and it kind of ties in with the subject of shallow or surface level simplicity that I was kind of talking about yesterday. It's that society kind of creates common reference points and common symbols of familiarity that people can bond over, and that people can, interpret really easily to improve the speed at which people can make decisions or make a conclusion about other people, or conclusions can be made about them for better or for worse. You can use it to your advantage, or it can be, you know, used against you depending on what situations you're in. And sometimes that's a helpful perspective to acknowledge. Um, but yeah, it helps to create trust. Society's symbols and common reference points, it really helps people to feel safe, to feel familiar with strangers, with people they don't know, and things that, they don't have any experience or much reference point to understand in others. It really helps bring out the best in people, to form a structure so that people are able to be open, like open their hearts, to trust and to be curious and to partner with things, and um to kind of have a common language to understand each other in. And um when I was younger, I wasn't so much politically minded. I think it would have been more philosophically, I guess, but my stance was just that society is only negative, and that's it. And I didn't really understand that. I guess what I would say now that I understand, that I didn't, when I was like in my early 20s, over a decade ago, is that I really um cared about freedom. I really cared about freedom and free choice and all of that. And my perception was that the people whose lives I was intertwined with, um, in these rural areas, I thought that they were just outside of society. But after some experiences, I kind of came to the conclusion that, society is a social technology that is open to anybody who chooses to utilize it, regardless of how you live and make a living. And, and it's also more than philosophy. Um, it also is like a factual thing that is enforced by threat or, um, it's enforced by force or threat of force or memory of force or, yeah, pretty much force in different degrees. But it is actually, some parts of society are a bigger systemic force, and then some other parts of society are manageable, and we can enter or not enter them through what we choose with our own thoughts and the way we interpret things and the way that we choose to align ourselves with these different common symbols and reference points. And I know that's kind of a really like broken down way to understand society, but I think it's really meaningful to a lot of people who might feel like they're on the outskirts or they can never belong to society, um, or feel like, especially when it comes to money, feeling like they have to engage with society just for money. And if money wasn't a part of the equation, they wouldn't have to be a part. But society is just human, like human systems and traditions and processes for people interacting and regulating one another and having faith, being able to have faith in good things, that good things will happen and are able to happen. And yeah, I think for a lot of people, myself included, as recovered people, we have to examine the mental stance we take towards society and our beliefs about our identity and where we fit in society and just how we relate to it. And realizing that many of the kind of relics of society or associations that some people, you know, find most noticeable about society, those don't have to be our interpretations or alignments or the parts of society that are vibrant and real to us and that we engage with. And I think it comes down to, being able to trust and manage your own perspectives and beliefs about who you believe you are and what you deserve and what you want to experience, and being able to affirm that you do want to experience a gentle life, as gentle as possible in this, sometimes crazy world, but that you do want to experience a gentle life. You do want to experience the security and safety and lessened stress that comes from speaking to yourself in certain ways and noticing signs of possible compatibility or incompatibility between you and things in the world and what directions you might want to go in and experiment in so that you're able to be more authentic and find your authentic way of being in society. And I don't know, just thinking today how cool I seriously think it is that a part of society is that it supports people being able to trust each other because we have kind of this subconscious shorthand of understanding and reference points, and beliefs. And the internet increases that even more. Like the internet is kind of its own, I don't know how to think of it, like a mini society, or like an overlay over society that kind of bleeds into the physical world, but it's still kind of its own mini society in a way. But it does affect things in, I don't know what to call it, the non-internet world, the physical world around us, the non-intellectual conceptual world. Is that what we would say? I don't know. um but yeah, that's just what is on my mind this evening, and I think that it's really important to embrace the positives about society and not worry about the negatives, because you know that um you don't have to engage in it, or you can engage in different values or beliefs that you might see at surface level, which will be, you know, the line in the cave or whatever, or the rope in the cave, like someone following a rope with their hands through the dark cave to get to where you want to be, where you really are in the part of society that is compatible with your own personal advantages and disadvantages, and, you know, just based on self knowledge from being able to know what you want to experience and what you enjoy, and that you don't want to force yourself to have, um, you know, experiences that aren't enjoyable or rewarding according to your goals. And anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I affirm for you that you will continue to understand the parts of yourself that are basically the key through which you'll find where you belong within society. And remembering that society is much bigger, and things that you might have, it's much bigger than you might believe. And there's things that are part of it that you might think are, you know, shallow, or, you know, kind of negative stereotypes, but they could also be really positive stereotypes. It reminds me of the kind of phrase that goes something like, the the demons of today were the saviors of yesterday. I don't know the phrases, but, you know, it's just the idea that, you know, things that were so progressive and healing and necessary for people like 50 years ago or whatever, certain philosophies, or 20 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever, you know, it's like now that times have changed, those things aren't really helpful anymore, and so we find new ones. So listen to yourself, because you are a part of creating these new philosophies and beliefs within society. I think it's more not about trying to find your way out of society or avoiding society, but it's more about remembering that you are inherently a part of society as a living being. You can help create, with other people partnering together, you can help create the kinds of things that you want to see more of in society. So take care and talk later. Bye.